Hey, how y'all doing? Good afternoon, good afternoon. Can I get everybody to actually come into the seats, sit down? We all family here. We welcoming people in. Y'all doing all right? It's cold, ain't it? It's cold. Shut about my blanket. Whew. So my name is Jared Hall, and I have a piece for you all. Feet plastered to pavement. Still body. No reaction on face. Where am I supposed to be? I seen too many folk stuck in predicaments, mentally facing no sense of sentiment, yet we called sensitive. I ain't seen my people smiling days. The path we paved for progress got potholes. Reminds me of 440 on school days. Brown-eyed, blue haze, El Camino, how my feet be on pace. Reminds me of 440's targeting. They shoot schools these days. So I move, hoping not to be the next bullseye. So we just saying everything gonna be alright, but I ain't seen change since blue lights became the new nightlight in my area. Can't trust the nightlife in my area. Yet all the lights dimmed down seems even scarier. Alienated by characters, carrying copious cartons of caramel. They rather rot their teeth with sweet sensationalism. Quoting black children as men to bubble them in, section them off. They put Jesus on the cross. They'll make me a trending topic. America, how sweet the chocolate melts in your mouth, yet the bitterness of your deceit don't leave no taste. Men in black gripping their waist, they leave us the message. Run, black boy, run. No need for altercation. We see the way your people act. No need for observations. Well, I kindly carry myself to the 10 that's at the station because my pops just want to see me graduate and get my papers. So I moved to be a new beginning. I moved to be the change of face for the identity that you hold an impression of. I moved to be free from judgment. I moved to be free.
Y'all give another round of applause for Jared Hall. Jared's a student at Fog High School and a proud member of Southern Word, a huge network of youth poets that really rock our city all the time, so give them just one more round of applause. My name is Jen Cole, and I am the director of Metro Arts, our Office of Arts and Culture here in Nashville, and I am so thrilled, even though it is very cold in this April day, to be here to celebrate National Poetry Month with our friends at MTA. This is the 6th year that we have celebrated Poetry in Motion, which is a national program to bring the word of poems into public transit throughout the United States. There are more than 20 cities that participate, and I am so excited because Nashville is actually one of the only cities that sources poems from living poets, and in our case, from poets who live right here in our community. We have been partnering with MTA and Southern Word for quite some time to source poems from young people throughout our communities. And this year we are really excited as a partner to bring into the program the Porch Writers Collective. And this is the biggest year ever. We think there's a lot going on with transit, but we think there's a lot going on with community and voice and neighborhoods. And one of the things that Metro Arts likes to do is celebrate the words of people who live in our community, because our narratives tell the story. Art connects humanity. Art is who we are, and never has our city needed more to talk and share and be. And use art as a way to translate the stories that we all tell, like Jared's story or Destiny's story that we'll hear in a little bit, or my son's story who rides the bus every day to and from his school. We are a city of stories. We're known for music, but really what music is our narratives. And Poetry in Motion helps us do that. We are thrilled to unveil the city's first ever poetry bus today, which is parked right over there, wrapped completely in the words of Nashville poets, inside and out. The Porch Writers Collective helped us with a haiku contest that'll be on fare cards, and this is a celebration of who we are in written form, in mobile form. At Metro Arts, we believe this connection to words connects us to equitable communities and helps drive our common humanity. And we like to celebrate this constantly through multiple forms of public art. I would love at this point to recognize that none of this would be possible without a great partner. And MTA has been that for 6 years. Particularly, we worked a lot this year to bring art more into the rider experience throughout MTA and in a collaboration, and I'd like to bring forward Steve Bland, the director and CEO of MTA.
Thank you, Jen, and we truly appreciate the partnership with the Metro Arts Commission. So I was going to read my original poem. It was a 14-page creation. And Jen and the folks at Metro Arts had the opportunity to review it and said we might have a few better entrants. So we'll dispense with that, especially on a cold day. Actually, my knowledge of poetry doesn't much go beyond that old song that we sang as kids, The Wheels on the Bus. So I won't have you join us in a round of that. But I want to add on what Jen mentioned. A goal we have at the MTA is not only to get more art into our community and out of some of the really amazing artists that you have heard from and will hear from today, but actually to brighten up the experience of the day-to-day commute. It can be pretty routine, whether you ride the bus or you drive or you take the Music City Star. And I hope all of you have an opportunity, if you haven't yet, to go experience our rolling work of art behind us, the Poetry in Motion Bus. So we are truly delighted to host many of Nashville's finest artists on the MTA system, but just as important, really brighten the daily experience of our thousands of daily commuters and hope that we can make their ride just a little bit brighter. So with that, knowing it is cold and knowing that the words I have to say aren't nearly as energetic and enlightening as others here, I want to introduce our next poet, is Destiny Birdsong. Destiny participated through Southern Words Poetry on Demand project. Our young poets to get out into the neighborhoods, experience life in those neighborhoods, translate that in a way that only they can in truly original form. And I think you will see, as we have seen so far, that they do it in truly a remarkable way that all of us should be inspired by. So, Destiny, I would ask you to take the stage.
Good afternoon. How is everyone? Pretty good? Great. My name is Destiny Birdsong. I'm a writer who lives and works right here in Nashville, and I've had the great privilege of working with a project called Poetry on Demand. And what it is poets stage different events throughout the city. We invite, regular people to come and tell their stories, and we turn those stories into poems. There's actually going to be a Poetry on Demand event on April 30th inside the bus terminal. So please come by, tell us your stories. We would love to hear them. We would love to turn them into something wonderful. About a little over a year ago, The Porch, which is a writers collective here in Nashville that helps sponsor Poetry on Demand, had a fundraising event at Green Door Gourmet. And I was there and I had the great opportunity to speak with Mary Gaucher, who's a singer-songwriter who also lives here in Nashville. And she told me the story of a transformative moment for her as an artist, and I wrote a poem about it. So I'm just gonna read that today. It's called Mercy at the Ryman, 2002. The songs don't care how far you are past 40 or who you love. That night, I sang my father's story into the rafters. Still unsure, I had found my place in this Bible Belt town with Jesus and Johnny cash on every corner. Where could I belong with my love of women, my sobriety, which, like me, was neither young nor old, and sometimes as quiet as a Monday sanctuary, but sometimes as unruly as a child during Sunday service. I sang to my past, to the heavy-booted ghosts who'd followed me from Baton Rouge to Boston to here. I sang to the ones who came before, the lucky ones who'd made good, and for those who'd vanished like melting snow in the Tennessee dawn. I was sure only of this, that I was in search of something each of my lyrics was trying to name. Mercy, mercy, I sang. I didn't know how I sounded to the crowd, my voice an echo of all its travels, the silt and gravel of them, things I carried across a continent. But it wasn't until after, when Emmylou Harris touched my arm and said, "The Mother Church admits only some, and you are one of them," I could feel lashed to my shoulders a parcel of stones engraved with all the failures I had feared, each a borrowed shame, not one of them my own. If the songs had christened me, and now the mothers, what else was there to do? I lifted each burden, now light as a holy wafer, my first communion, and with a silent hallelujah, I let them go. Thank you.
Thank you, Destiny. The bus is also filled with these incredible anthologies that the Porch helped us source from community poets just like Destiny, and I hope that you'll grab one and really dig into the words. I'm really proud now to introduce somebody who understands very implicitly that words have power in our community, and that's the 8th Mayor of Nashville, Mayor David Briley, who is an incredible supporter of the arts and an incredible gift with words himself. So everyone, Mayor David Briley.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Jen. For those of you who don't know, I was on the interview panel for Jen's very first job when she moved to Nashville, 20 years ago almost? 18? So I've known Jen for a while. And I want to thank her for her 8 years of service to the city at Metro Arts and for everything that she and her staff does for the city of Nashville. I know Councilman Freddie O'Connell was meant to be here. He's probably at home with his daughter and son staying warm. So as I sat in the audience, I had my prepared speech, but I decided not really to read it. Instead, as I looked through the book, I found a poem from a friend of mine, Sarah Passano, that's in here. So I'm going to read that instead, really, of what I was planning to say. And it is untitled. Yards are so small, but what about banks? Of the river or those hills over Casey, where you see how still the earth holds itself together, and where in March patches of early spring rise up in perfect circles around old Indian cigar tree roots and around the impossibly sweet new life green of our native grass. Sarah Passano. Today, I guess, is a beautiful day to hear that poem. It gives us some sort of sense of perspective in a world that is, in a city that has a lot of displacement and discord right now. So I think that's why poetry in all of our buses is such an important thing. It does give people an opportunity for the sun to come out and to get some perspective on the city in which we live. Some stuff about transit. Everybody's tired of hearing about transit. Skip that, skip that, skip that. The haiku poems that were submitted by the winners of the Porch Contest do focus on issues of mobility, inclusion, access, and we'll see those on the fare cards and on MTA placards. These poems are a reminder of how transit experiences can move us literally and figuratively, and how public transportation brings us together with others from different parts of the city and from different backgrounds. Obviously, accessibility is important to us. That's why we're talking about it so much right now. And last year, Nashville youth under the age of 18 rode 1.8 million times to and from school. Without the ability to get on our metro transit system, all of the promise of access to quality public education is really lost, and we have to stay focused on that. Southern Words challenged our middle and high school students to write a poem on the theme of the power of movement. The poetry contest in this celebration underscore how critical public transportation is to public education and the vital role poetry and the arts can play in both. From 99 entries, Southern Word chose 8 winning poems. The winning students are Edward Jimenez Arias from Croft Design Center, Middle Prep, Lenora Bashir from Isaac Litton, Middle Prep, Mason Newberry from Nashville School of the Arts, Michael Corder from Hume Fogg Academic Magnet, Sierra Gray, also from Isaac Litton Middle Prep, Scarlett Jones, who is homeschooled, and Sydney Owens from Hume Fogg Academic Magnet. Oh, and Kendall Grimes from Head Middle Magnet Prep. You can see their poems displayed on MTA's interior bus placards, and they're also wrapped around the poetry bus. And now we'll hear from some of those student poets. Please welcome Lenora Bashir from Isaac Litton Middle School to read her poem, Take a Step.
Take a step forward, that's a record broken. Take another step, that's a door open.
How y'all doing today? My name is Michael Corder. I'll be performing a poem I wrote for the Poetry in Motion called The Beat. I sit, but still I move. My limbs, they dance in a furious tango. And my feet, they move in a funky funk. And my eyes, they dance in a frantic foxtrot. And my heart commands them all. Thank you.
From our very first moments, we move without thought. It is our sole instinct, one that cannot be fought. With movement comes power. With movement comes strength. If the world is our canvas, then movement is our paint. Move with the tide, change with the wind. For with movement comes opportunities without end. Thank you.
Beautiful movement. Running through an open field sets you free. You can soar on air like a bird suspended on broad wings. Twirling round in the sunshine, drinking in its light, fills you with a joyful spirit, energy, delight. Skip, spin, climb, swim, ride, laugh, play. Our world is filled with movement, forever on display.
Movement, the art of taking a step towards a goal and purpose. Movement can't save the world or erase all hate, but it can do so much more than you think. Movement can help accomplish dreams and take you wherever your heart desires. Movement can't write your story, but it sure can tell it.
Unconventional ballerina. The minute I first tiptoed across my living room floor, spinning into a pirouette to Vivaldi's Spring, marked the very first moment my body no longer felt like a burden. Thank you.
I want to thank all of you for coming out, for celebrating Word, for celebrating mobility, for celebrating our neighborhoods. And I want to particularly thank all the young people and their parents who are here. We have activities. We have a poetry bus we'd love for you to go through and see. Make sure you check out your haiku fare cards. And I want to deeply, deeply thank Mayor Briley for his deep commitment both to transit and mobility, to our health and to our neighborhoods, and to the words and the stories of each of you. So, and without a doubt, none of this would have happened if it had not been for Lauren Fitzgerald on my staff, who is the coordinator of Poetry in Motion, and pretty much a rock star in her own right. And so I just want to give Lauren a huge round of public thanks for all that she does. So. Go celebrate poetry. Come check out the poetry bus, and it's warm. That's the biggie there. So thanks, everybody.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.